probably the unluckiest sacking of the year has gone to Burnley. Sean Dyche being relieved of his duties. Burnley versus Southampton. Burnley massive plus 185 fighting for their lives. Southampton plus 150. Who knows what you're getting from them? Even when they win, they're not quite right. But they kept a clean sheet at the weekend as well. Southampton plus 150 to score twice. Burnley plus 175 to score twice, which brings in the over 2.5 goals at plus 105. I was looking at maybe Southampton, draw no bet, minus 125. Southampton normally do well here, but we do see goals. But Southampton at plus 150 against a Burnley side, who for me are going to be a little bit rudderless. And they were so fortunate at the weekend, Mark O'Hare, to play against a West Ham side who were gassed and still living off the glorifying of their win in Lyon last Thursday.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think from a Burnley perspective, there was an opportunity to win there, particularly with the missed penalty as well. But I thought they did okay. Nick Pope had to make some good saves and keep them in the game. I was interested to see who was in charge, really, because...
I'm just typing that same thing, Mark O'Hare, because Michael Makeda says, new manager, who knows what will happen here? Well, I thought that Billy Mercer, the goalkeeping coach and good friend of mine, I thought he was taking charge.
It's apparently under 23s coach Mike Jackson, and Ben Mee was also helping out because he's injured at the minute. So, that's my biggest question mark, really, because I think when any manager leaves, good or bad, there can always be a bit of a bounce, a bit of a sort of different change of philosophy, really. And it kind of warns me off getting involved in matches because you just don't know how teams are going to set up. But I was kind of encouraged. It's only one game, but kind of encouraged by what they did. Obviously, if Cornet's penalty goes in, they probably win the match, and things look massively different. So, yeah, I mean, this is a real opportunity for them, though, because they have to start making things pay, particularly at home against a Southampton team with nothing left to play for. But can you really back Burnley? They've won 4 Premier League games all season. They've only scored 13 home goals. They are unbeaten against bottom half teams at Turf Moor. And as we know, Southampton concede goals regularly. They've only won 3 away games themselves. They've failed to win 6 of 7 trips to the bottom half as well. We thought they were on the beach. I did expect a reaction after the thrashing by Chelsea. They weren't that great against Arsenal, but they got the result. And I think that's almost kind of like, well, job done now. We've kind of proved ourselves again at St Mary's. We got thrashed, we've returned, we put in a performance, we got a result, and we can kind of go back to putting our feet up and being back on the beach. So that would be a concern for Saints. They did switch to 3 at the back at the weekend. Whether they'll continue to do that going forward, I'm not sure. I think it might be a system that works for them better. But yeah, I mean, from a Southampton perspective, regardless of what you're going to get from Burnley, you're in mid-table, you're going nowhere. A trip to Burnley midweek towards the end of the season with nothing to play for, to me, not really the kind of conditions I want to be with Saints. So I was really tempted by Burnley plus a quarter, just because it's now or never really for Burnley. You've got to get a result in this kind of match, and if you don't, you're doomed, really. So, yeah, disappointed for Dyche to go, but just a bit of too many question marks behind the scenes, really, to sort of back them with any faith. And you kind of go back to the point, ultimately, they've won 4 games all season. So, yeah, more than enough to put me off and just leave this match alone.
Okay, the reason I've actually sided with Southampton is because I thought they would dominate midfield. I thought they would be too much in defensive positions, and I thought they'd be too good. Obviously, with Brozier, we've got Armstrong, we've got the fullbacks pushing on. We've got plenty energy and plenty goals, obviously, with the likes of Ward-Prowse. Burnley, I think, are going to struggle to get a foothold in this game, Stinch.
Maybe, but maybe they'll just do, the revert to type. They played sort of 4 attacking players for only the second time since Weghorst has arrived. They played Weghorst and Rodriguez up front, and then Cornet and McNeil wide. Maybe they're just going to bypass midfield and hit the 2 big men and try and pick up the pieces. We know Southampton away from home have been vulnerable defensively all season, really. I think they conceded 2 or more in 17 of the last 21 away trips in the league. So I did have a little look at Burnley over 1.5 team goals at plus 175. Then you're not worried about who wins the game. We saw Burnley score 3 at home to Everton recently. But yeah, for me, I was just a bit confused regarding the managerial switch. I kind of understand thought process that maybe getting rid of Dyche with what's sort of quite a nice fixture list, I would say, for them might be the way to go, given the fact they concede most shots in the league, or joint most, and they take the fewest shots. So you're not going to win football matches that way. So maybe bringing in a more attack-minded manager is the way to go, given the fact they have sign the likes of Weghorst and Cornet, who were playing European football not so long ago. So now to attract those players, I think they did really well to attract them, but maybe not playing to their strengths. But I'm surprised that they didn't have a managerial replacement lined up immediately. It's quite bizarre to sack someone like Dyche, who's done such a good job and been there for such a while, not to have somebody immediately lined up. And even the three of us don't seem to know who is like the main man in charge now. So yeah, just enough to put me off, really. We thought maybe Southampton were on the beach and they picked up the 3 points against Arsenal. So yeah, just I think you could be right that it depends whether Southampton win the midfield battle or whether Burnley win the aerial battle. That could be the way the game plays out. But yeah, just too many question marks really for me to get involved. But if Burnley do show signs of being more attack-minded and do create chances, then I might look to get with them next week, because then we've got a couple of games where we kind of know that they are going to play in that style.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting game to watch. Actually, I was going to go with Southampton, draw no bet, and I just thought I'm getting Southampton at plus 150 against a side who's desperate, who won't be able to actually control the game, and I think that Brozier may well have his feel here. So let's have a little look at the official picks, because I have fielded with Southampton. Not gone well for me this year, I must admit, and I must make you all aware that whenever I've been with Southampton, maybe on the rare occasion I've picked up, but majority of the time I've left it behind. But Southampton money line at plus 150 was just too big against a side that are struggling, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to handle the pressure. Now,